I hope everybody's doing well. This series is literally just going to be called Scaling CMR, and I'm going to be documenting on a daily basis short videos going over exactly how I plan on scaling my marketing agency that's using cold email right now to fulfill for customers. I'll be as transparent as possible with you guys and showing you guys basically the ins and outs of it. I've never done something like this complete before on the channel. I've had some kind of documentation stuff in the past, but obviously if you're new here, subscribe for the actual progress and the timeline of everything. But here's the exact goals and what we're going to be going over today. This is obviously episode 1. And we're going to be going over some of the bottlenecks of the cold email system that I currently have and what I'm actively doing to relieve those bottlenecks and scale my personal agency. I feel like on this YouTube channel, I talk a lot about from kind of like a different perspective of how I would go about doing things in the past in my marketing agency, as far as like offers, pricing, structuring, things like that. But I feel like I'm not really, it's not that I'm not transparent. It's just that I haven't shown you guys the kind of like day-to-day slash what I work on and slash what I think about on a daily basis for my marketing agency. So obviously, without further ado, I'm going to show you guys here on the screen kind of what we're working with so far. This is the past 7 days. Obviously, the title of this video has something to do with inboxes, and the inboxes have been burned on instantly for the past couple of weeks. So I just got them back up in these past like literally day or two to where they're sending 500 and we're start sending 700 to 1,000 cold emails a day. Honestly, what was happening is I burned out all my email domains. I had a lot. Right now I have 70 email accounts, and it just wasn't good because I was sending a higher volume when I shouldn't have. And one thing about Instantly is that if you purchase through the add new done for you email setup, they actually share IPs with other Google providers and other cold emailers. So shared IPs is obviously a negative because the deliverability of other people's messages on cold email, if they're super spammy and they have bad wording, will affect your deliverability because you share the same IP address. And if that gets blacklisted or seen as spam, that obviously affects your cold emails in return. So the best thing you want to do is you want to connect existing accounts and purchase them off like a major provider. For simplicity purposes and for my offer and my business and how I have things going on, what I like to do is have a done for you setup, because I only book customers a certain amount of appointments before I install this team or before I install this system in-house. So just kind of like, just to be super clear with you guys, just kind of show you guys some results. Over the past 7 days, we had like 2 opportunities. I haven't converted at all to sales. Obviously, this is not my only channel of revenue. I have things on YouTube here as well. And current clients, existing clients, retainers, payments, demos, books, things like that. So this is just, in terms of this documentation series, it's just showing you guys what's going on in terms of front-end acquisition. So without my current customer base that I'm doing right now, just like front-end wise, like if I were to start all over again, which I basically am because I had to I basically relapsed all these domains, I have to start all over again. So this is basically fresh. Of course, this is day 1, obviously. So the reply rate for the current message we're sending out is somewhat healthy. Obviously, we're getting people that are not interested, which is totally fine. We're pushing out the 625 offer. Now, this offer is very simple. It actually goes over in a quick Loom video kind of how it all works. I'm going to click on it, but I'm not going to show you guys. Basically, I want to tell you guys in this video, the hardest thing to do in terms of cold email, and what I figured out is really, really, really hard, is just being able to have a proven offer that can convert at scale. Most of these customers that I signed for this offer, which is 625 up front, they prepay for the first 5 booked appointments up front. I don't even speak to them on the phone. And I've written down here in this journal, because of it, there's so many bottlenecks. So just to be completely transparent with you guys, some of the bottlenecks I'm currently facing are conversion from email to either book a call or to view the Loom and pay. Obviously, a smaller percentage of the funnel that responds back to an email positively is going to pay you money right there on the spot. It's only about 2% of the market that will actually do that initially. The rest needs to go through another form of nurture or speaking with you or trust to be able to then bridge the gap to pay you money online. So my current dilemma is, well, do I book people initially on a call and just book out of my sales calendar? Or do I continue pushing out this offer to where it's a Loom, and then they have the ability in the Loom right here on the screen to be able to pay money, click the Google Doc link, review the proposal, and check out? I think immediately get onboarded. In terms of like streamlining, obviously the Loom is going to be perfect because it's a sales asset. It's just like a VSL. I don't have to do any work or take any calls. They can just pay me money. It looks like the screen just cut out, so it'll just be me talking here right now for the rest of the video. But that's the first school of thought. Obviously, it's like, well, if you have a Loom that can sell, why don't you just send a bunch of prospects there? It's like, right, but only a small portion of the market will do that. So right now I'm A/B testing both of them. That's the bottleneck. That's a dilemma because we need to be able to have a clear outcome in order to scale this thing at the volume that I want to. Number two is daily lead volume. So how do you predictably source more leads with cold email, verify them, make sure your bounce rate's low, and are actually able to make sure they're decision makers that are up to date? I have a lot of buddies who have lead lists in the online space that are very good. Lead lists are great, but a lot of them are outdated. A lot of these lead lists are from CEOs who were CEOs of companies in say like 2015, 2016, and data gets old, data gets conglomerated together, and it doesn't perform as well because things are outdated. So how do you ensure your daily volume of leads? Okay, this is my second bullet point right here. How do you ensure your daily volume of leads is predictable? And that just comes down to having somebody source them with a templatized way, which I'm currently doing. So in terms of like this episode 1, I'm going over these bottlenecks. I'm telling you guys what the reality of the cold email system is, because yes, it can book you calls. Yes, it's a great system. I really am getting good results from it, as you guys can tell, and I can show you guys more proof in previous or in future episodes. But the main bottleneck here is that there's a lot of moving parts of the cold email. It's a fragile infrastructure. It's infrastructure that if you mess up a certain part of it, a lot of it will just go down and you'll just get burned. For instance, you got 5 different domains with 2 email accounts connected to them, okay? 3 of those domains go down. They get burned. Somebody marks you as spam. Guess what? That's 60% of your entire marketing efforts and acquisition efforts to reach out to leads and book calls being deducted from your business. So it's like 60% of your cash flow goes away for the entire month if it takes you that long to recoup it back. So that's how miserable the cold email campaign can be. But it can also be very good too, because you're only reaching out to hyper-targeted decision makers, which is great. The next thing I have right here is setting process for customers. So I have a decent amount of customers right now that we have been transitioning into instantly from various different LinkedIn platforms or LinkedIn outreach. We're moving everybody to cold email, okay? And so now that everybody's moving to cold email, we have to have an entire orchestration of team members or VAs that can predictably send out the client's booking links to the prospects. So it's like, say I have 50 different clients who all are sending cold email campaigns. Well, they all need new leads to be refreshed. They all need new campaigns to be refreshed. They all need new copy. And then when the prospects do start responding to the customer's cold emails, I have to have somebody in on their workspace or on their email account to then respond and book them out calls. That's something I'm dealing with too right now. So we have a pool of VAs that are doing that, as well as some appointment setters. But again, I have to think from the leverage part of the of a CEO. I have to understand that if I place X amount of leverage here, how does this affect my profit margins? How does this affect my take home revenue? How does it, is this more of an automated solution that can be automated with the right people? Or can I use, some sort of AI and system to deliver this result? So all these things I'm running through as a whole. And just to kind of be clear, I make these lists on notes. And literally I write it down, like problem at the very top. I say identify CMRR bottlenecks. Okay. And I just write them down. And then I spend like 30 minutes to 45 minutes every single morning when I get up at 5:30 to think about one bottleneck and to really think about what are some angles and ways that I can go about solving this. Or matter of fact, instead of me trying to run my head to the wall, who can I go to as far as mentors, help, coaching, who can I pay for a course to be able to learn about a certain skill set to then elevate my experience when it comes down to this. Okay, the last 2 bottlenecks are very simple. It's building a predictable way to automate reporting. So I need at every single Friday, I'm building an automation using AI that scrapes the data from each customer's instantly, so email account, and sends it to them on Slack or on Gmail saying, hey, this is how many messages we've sent this week. This is how many emails that have been opened. This is how many emails have been replied to. This is your booking call rate. Here's how many calls we booked you. This is a metric that every single cold email agency needs to have, a proper way to report. If you don't have this, then your customers are going to be very, very, very hesitant to not necessarily just sign with you, but to be able to keep you win their service and to continuously pay you money, because guess what? You might be seeing what's going on in front of your computer as a CEO or as the marketer, as the visionary. But if your customers aren't seeing that, the level of transparency that you are, then it's only natural that doubt is going to appear in their heads in terms of like, well, what are they doing? How long is it going to take? I was expecting this amount of results. And it's much better to just be transparent up front and give them the raw data than try to justify every single week with a Slack message saying, hey, we're sending out emails, smiley face. It's kind of weird, right? The last thing I want to touch on really briefly is focusing on these bottlenecks, but also like visualization. I am using this. I've always used visualization. This is something that is very important to me. It's a win. It's definitely a win. Every single morning when I get up, I visualize what I want my ideal reality to look like in terms of customers coming in, people signing with me, head of fulfillment doing his thing, head of acquisition doing his thing. People are moving. The parts are moving. Everything's running in place. Okay. This is what I visualize at a T every single morning. If you're not clear on what exactly that is that you want, if you don't have a clear vision on how, on what this looks like, your subconscious mind can't bring a how into the universe to build a way for you. Everything with unclear visions leads to unclear destinations, which means an unclear, unsuccessful route throughout your entire life. If you're not clear on what you want, you can't have it. Okay. So what broke today was obviously a lot of the emails, the copy. We're split testing it. We're getting decent response rates, about 2.something%, which is okay. And what broke is the email deliverability, figuring out ways to A/B split test the copy, a proven setting process for my clients because fulfillment's getting pretty heavy. So these are all things that have broken that I'm now sort of trying to not fix myself, but operationalize so I can have this as a leverage solution rather than me having to come into the business and put out the fire or the fire extinguisher after every single time this happens. I want to be able to fix something one time manually and then implement an automated process or some sort of SOP or solution to then have it completely set in stone for the future. That way I'm not having to constantly do this, okay? That was kind of behind the scenes. This is kind of what goes through my head on a day-to-day basis. This is what I focus on. I highly encourage you to pick up a journal or just a sheet of paper with a pencil or pen and write down what exactly your bottlenecks are, because sometimes they get super clouded in your head and you don't know exactly what to focus on. One lesson I learned obviously is being able to operationalize like fulfillment more and be more of like an operator and like a systems builder rather than just like somebody who is manually trying to fix everything all at once. Looking ahead, obviously, is my goal to earn $4,500 a day in this business. No matter how it happens, that's totally fine. It's not really up to me of how everything orchestrates. I take that off of my hands and I just focus on the daily actions and the math and what I can take to actually get there. So that being said, that is sort of, the bottlenecks and the inbox PTSD, if you will, of kind of what this is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's obviously very upfront. Let me know if you want a specific topic to be talked about during one of these episodes. But I'm using this time, like 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, how long this video is, every single day to recap what happened, what I learned, how much I'm on my goal, and where exactly I'm going. So the offer 625 sells like hotcakes. I've sold it numerous times via cold email with the Zoom calls and without Zoom calls. I've had customers pay me. It's a very good offer I'll be using to scale. Obviously, it's not the best offer because you're getting paid lower up front for an entire infrastructure build out, but I have some pricing solutions on the back end after a month of delivering those 5 appointments that I have in the back of my pocket to where we upcharge them or cross-sell them. I wouldn't say upsell or upcharge. That's not a good word. Cross-sell them on a solution to where we can install this system in-house for a one-time fee. And then the LTV increases for the customer. So that being said, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. This was day 1 of scaling this is episode 1 of scaling CMRR. This is kind of what I go over. This is kind of what goes on in my head. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what exactly you guys want to see next. I'll be making episode 2 tomorrow. You guys can request down below, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.